Welcome to the Art of Hitting channel. Today we have part 2 of the Dugout interview with Ken Van Bogart and Brett Van Bogart of Swing Makeover fame. 2 of the pioneers in the filming and evaluation of swings in slow pitch softball and baseball. Enjoy the part 2 of this interview with this famous father-son combination out of Wisconsin. Hope I got that right. I think it's Wisconsin. My memory's not what it used to be. But listen, I hope you enjoy it. These guys are a great interview. Thank you. He's the head of DeMarini. That's
But he played you class.
I was sponsored by DeMarini when we were in our when I was with the Texas team. DeMarini sponsors. Yeah. It was the bat. You know, I remember in the 40s, the team from Wisconsin or where Ruth Realty, where were they from?
Oh, they're Washington.
Washington. Well, that's where DeMarini's from, that neck of the woods, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that bat was like being tasked by this Ruth Realty team.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was like the hot.
But he was a great innovator, you know. And another place where I really met a lot of great people was Jack Aaronson's stereotype, Bob Waldyke.
That's where we came.
Oh yeah, you and probably my best friend in softball has been Steve Imlay. Steve Imlay has his own heating academy, and we collaborate all the time. And now that I've turned 70, I haven't played NASCAR for 5 years. We had COVID. I had a left knee, a right knee, a hip, and had some cancer surgery last year. Well, Steve Imlay is 5 years older than me, and we've been friends since we met at Worlds in Seattle back when I was 51 years old. And Steve and I are big buddies. So met a lot of awesome people.
Yeah, I got to stop here because it's something that when I was going through these videos, and I remembered that was the first time that we started to know each other in person. I mean, we had that kind of knowing each other, some tournament in Alabama or Tennessee or whatever. But when I looked at the videos from our charity tournaments, and I've seen, now this is supposed to be my buddy, yeah, I know Ed Rosie. He interviewed everybody on that field but me. You know that? Yeah, it ain't funny, man.
I have an interview with you. I'll take it out to you. Huh? That's old age, Ed, you're forgetting. I have an interview with you.
Well, where?
You know,
I watch your channel all the time. I've seen that hit piece you did on
Stay focused. We'll post the link of this interview to you.
Okay. Go ahead. No.
So actually, Brett, so when you guys went to YouTube, there must have been a surge. Like, was there a point where it really started to grow, or was it just kind of like organically smooth, or what?
I think it's kind of been slow and steady, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's I think early on, I don't know all the ins and outs of YouTube. I think it was easier to get your views up higher, maybe long ago, I don't know. But then it's kind of just, it grows, you know, slow over time. You get more subscribers and more views as it goes on. But, and then certain times of year, it's definitely seasonal, you know, where it waxes and wanes. But just transitioning from the DVDs, I still like watching the DVDs. I have a DVD player. You know, I watch physical DVDs.
Do you really?
Yeah.
All of our DVDs are up on the YouTube channel as well.
But it's so much easier.
All the DVDs are on your channel?
Yeah, we have them all, like the one that is off before feed. But it's so much easier just to upload something.
How much is relevant now or is not relevant now that was relevant back then?
I would say none of it. I think it's all relevant now.
It's all relevant. Yeah. Still relevant. You would say it's all still relevant.
Ted Williams swings.
I wouldn't say that maybe some things have changed, you know, specific wise, but in general, you know, our philosophy of hitting hasn't really evolved a lot for the whole time.
The reason
rotation, snap, stride, rotation, snap. You know, if you want to break
baseball, it is, and that part. Well, let's talk about this. And don't let me forget. I want to talk about him doing the overlap grip in baseball. Yeah. That's one thing that I don't. But you know, in baseball now, you ever watch The Teacher Man?
The Teacher Man.
So. I've seen some of this stuff.
The Teacher Man is the guy that's the coach of Aaron Judd. and he's got some unique things that you know, baseball swing can apply in softball, because in my theory you can do anything you want to do. Okay, you know, the one thing that you know, if I disagree with you on anything, it was the cocking the bat and doing like that, because, you know, I'm brought up, you know, Ted Williams 6 inches from the ear and all that stuff. But, you know, essentially that is something that you've been very successful with. You've been very successful with. You do it a little bit differently, you know.
Legal our hands position start a little closer to where the connected position is. You watch any great hitter, watch Ted Williams. He start here, takes the stride, the hands pull back.
He gets in that position.
You get in that position.
And you do too. It's just...
Yeah, when I go back here.
Right. So it's just a matter of, and we'll talk about, the number one most important thing someone can do is videotape their swing.
Mm-hmm.
And 99% of guys don't, and that's one of the things that we push a lot on the channel. And I do swing analysis. I say, guys, send me your swing, and I'll look at it. And that is something where most guys don't do, and they don't understand that you can stand up there like Albert Pujols or Aaron Judge, and you can wave the bat around as much as you want. But you watch those guys; they all get into the what we call the connected position. Just like a golf swing, you can see all these different golf guys have wild back swings and everything else. They all get into a similar position at some point in the swing, and that's what the connected position was. And I was never comfortable waving the bat around or holding it 6 inches from my face, or what you see these slow pitch or fast pitch girls doing, holding the bat here like this. Everybody that's a good hitter gets back into that, what we call the connected position. You have to have terms just so that we can, you know, talk about it. But it's here. So then what did I do? I wasn't comfortable waving the bat around. Like, I just couldn't make good contact like that. I was just like, well, if everybody gets into this position, because I've seen so many swings of the pro players, you know, growing up, why don't I just start in that position? And I just started doing that, and I was like, wow, I don't have to take the bat from straight up in the air and as I wind up and everything, pull it back. Now you could argue maybe you get a little bit extra, you know, benefit from that.
You still counter-rotate, bring a hand
right,
back.
I'm here. I'm not starting all the way back there, but once I get here, I'm just like, well, I'm just going to start here like this, and all of a sudden I started to get a lot of success like that. And one thing that we've talked to a lot of the pros over the years, a lot of them have played, of course, high-level baseball, or even in the major leagues, but a lot of them said if they knew what they did now with their technique and slow pitch, because I would argue it's a much more technique-driven sport than baseball, because you have, you know, what do you want to bat in slow pitch? You want to bat 800. You don't have to just square the bat up on a 90-mile-per-hour fastball coming in, and you do that 2.5 out of 10 times, and you're going to make millions of dollars. I think there's a lot of players at the upper level, including Aaron Judge, that I think have a somewhat flawed swing, and I think that if they played slow pitch, they would have to iron that out, and they would have better technique. That's my opinion on it.
I've seen many, well, I don't know how many, but a lot. I mean, I've played against a lot of famous baseball players that come and played softball, and some have been successful, not normally initially.
Yeah.
Because they got, I mean, well, even me, when I was a young man, I only had like 4 years of high school ball, but I had to, you know, reinvent my swing eventually. And that's the other thing it brings me to is I always wondered why baseball players didn't lay their bat on their shoulder, you know, because they're up there doing this, and like you say, they get to the same spot usually. And go figure, there's a coach in Louisiana that's become famous teaching his players to lay their bat on their shoulder.
Yeah.
And you know, did you lay your bat on your shoulder when you?
I have almost exactly the same swing, and we have a video we did called Teaching High School Hitters the Power Rotational Swing. I have the same swing in slow pitch right now as I did all through baseball growing up. I used an overlap grip. I held the bat back like this, and yeah, the coaches tried to change me, but I just, you know, my dad would say, be respectful, nod your head, say yes, and then when you get up there, do what you're doing, and then, you know, what they see on the field, they're not gonna, the same thing in football and everything else. If, you know, the results will speak for themselves, and then the coaches are not gonna try.
Did you actually try? to listen to the coach and go back to a standard grip?
No, he just said yeah and didn't do it.
No, I'm just in the purpose of practice or whatever. Did you ever?
Me and Ed were kind of talking before we went on air, and if I had to go back to, I mean, obviously I could work it out, but if I had to go back from an overlap grip where I still have the knuckles lined up, I think that's very important. We talk about that. I see so many baseball players that I call it a beefy boy grip. You know, they grab the bat like this, and hey, if you can grab the bat like that and have an inside-out swing and have success with it, go right ahead. That's just not what I'm going to teach a kid or someone who's trying to improve their swing to do, because I don't think that brings the best results long-term. But if I had to go back to a conventional grip, which it would be very uncomfortable. But when I was watching films, you know, Smoky Mountain Classic, Hank Garris, Wendell Ricard, all those guys, Carl Rose, they all had cup grips because it was the days of unlimited home runs. It seemed like everyone had a cup grip, and now I see a lot of the guys have conventional grips. Would you agree with that, Ed?
Yeah, I see.
Just going back the other way?
Yeah, because the guys still coming out of baseball, they think that, and you'd be a good one to ask this question for me when I switched over. Of course, I didn't hit the left field much, and it was all about the power. But
you gonna say bat control?
They lose control. I don't.
Bat control. That's the number one, and it's almost like that's one of those cliches that's force fed. You know, from the coaches down and down, they say, well, you don't have bat control with a overlap grip, and I don't buy that at all.
Now,
I strongly disagree with that.
Well, I do and I don't, because I can tell you, when I stopped playing baseball when I was 20 because it was down here in Florida, it's too damn high, and I could play softball and get, 5 to 10 plays a game. In baseball, I might maybe get 2 in the outfield. So it's more, but where was I going with that? Because, the grip. When I got 2 strikes on me in baseball, I needed more control, so what do? What do you do when you get 2 strikes on you in baseball?
I don't do it, but you're supposed to choke up.
Yeah, I did, and yeah, because it made the bat faster, and and I see people choke up.
I think it makes it shorter, but yeah, I'm not.
Well, it does make it shorter, but it doesn't make it faster when it comes around. No, you know why? I just said something wrong, because if you extend the lever, you make the bat faster. If you shorten the lever, then in theory you should make it, but you're going to get it around quicker. That's what I can't digest right now. But yeah, I choked up. Well, I know what I was going to tell you. Coaches aren't always right, and I had a high school coach. I struck out right-handed a lot in high school to start with. And I taught myself by reading Ted Williams' book, Swing Left-Handed. I hit 500 in my last season.
Really?
I didn't strike out at all. I had a real flaw in right-handed. And my son had it too, my oldest son.
It's funny, he says that all the time about his own swing.
I got it far better left.
He goes, watch me do this. He'll say, watch me do this left-handed. I'm not doing it, and then he'll do it right-handed. And when there's something, I don't know if you guys do it down here, called opposite. If you play co-ed, you have to hit opposite hand, so it's safer for the women. Up north, we do that. A lot of guys have to hit opposite hand, and he would hit a lot of balls out left-handed, and he said he always had a better swing naturally lefty compared to righty, which is funny you say that.
It might be due to your dominant hand. Ted Williams said your dominant hand should be elite hand, right?
Yeah, well, dominant eye too.
Yeah.
But let me get my point, because the coach taught me this. This is how he had me standing. Baseball, I'd be standing with like this, with my arm up like this, and I guess
the back elbow up probably is what they said.
He had this dude had up here like this.
That's better than the back elbow up.
Well, I mean, I did this too, but he was teaching me to do like that.
Well, at least if you're here, you'd be in a position.
Yeah, when I taught myself how to hit left-handed, and like I say, man, and finally, I did it when I was a junior. He wouldn't let me do it fully. When I batted against right-handers, I bat left-handed a little bit. But what I'm saying is that coaches don't always know, right? They're living in their old past, and that's why what you guys do are identifying the good things to do that have lasted over 25 years now.
At least it opens the door, and going back to that overlap grip, I think a lot of the guys that play conference now, everybody comes out of baseball, and back in the day when you know, the Crush and all those guys were playing. A lot of guys didn't play baseball first, and they went right into softball. That's why the overlap grip became popular. But a lot of guys in baseball, they drop the pinky. Almost every good pro I know drops the pinky. Otherwise, it's pretty much a conventional grip, and maybe down it's because they came out of baseball.
Do you think that one finger dropping over does anything?
I like it. That's why they have a knob grip, but if you drop your pinky down.
Yeah, the bottom.
He overlaps.
Yeah, I think it helps your.
He's full overlap.
It gives you a little bit more flex in the wrist.
And I guarantee you one thing, that he would not be able to hit the pitches he hits with a regulation grip or standard grip, whatever you want to call it. Do you think so? Ain't no way you're hitting that ball down here.
No,
like
you can hit. You can hit balls that are farther away from being your wheelhouse.
Your
it's
zone
so much
is
harder.
expanded.
It's just like a universal joint.
The bad thing though, Dan, is that what I find is I turn 70 and try to make a comeback with the overlap grip. You can get sloppy and get rolling over, and that chases your point of contact too far out ahead. If you keep it a pure line up the knocking knuckles, you get a better axe snap. I think a more defined axe snap, Brett, than you do. I think I can get a little sloppy with that, but the speed of it and the looseness of the overlap grip makes up for it.
The counter's not working. It's
the camera's not working?
the counter.
Oh, it's not?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, so, moving forward, is there any new technology that you guys are looking forward to implementing, or is it pretty much smooth sailing?
I wish that there could be some kind of a tool that could really emulate the swing 100%, and I don't know what that would require.
Your own swing or someone else's swing?
Well, for myself too. I mean, you know, we've tried coming up with a couple things over the years, and you know, like a ball on a rope. But a ball on a rope doesn't give you the full, you know, 100% or 360 rotational. It's almost like you have to have a hula hoop around you,
right?
And it has to be.
Didn't you guys develop something like that one time?
Well, it would almost have to be like floating, and then you'd have to hit the ball on it. But you could have a hula hoop around you, and we always say swing in an arc because you want to have a straight line swing, and the view that I always analyze guys' swings at is straight from the side, and it looks like it's a straight linear swing, but it's not. Well, talking about technology, we have a video on the channel where we took a drone and we put a drone up above my swing and some of the pro swings, and you see there's nothing linear about the swing, you know, besides the stride forward. It is a total circle. It almost looks lazy, like you're dragging the bat head around the whole time and then it comes through, as opposed to watching it from the side. You see that lag of the bat head and then it snaps forward. I think that's a very I think the lag is a very misunderstood concept.
What's the best angle to take that shot from?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right in your belly button.
Belly button,
But like
chest
Brett
high
said,
facing you.
From that angle there, if you watch my hands, I'm going to go in a real tight rotation. Just watch my hands. I'm going in a circle, but it looks like it's on a straight line from the side because the hands stay on that plane. But if you look them up above, it's much less rotation. That's why watching video.
Well, it's all rotation from above.
Well, it's all rotation from above. You can't look at something and perceive what somebody's doing. You got to really want to go out and experiment radically with some things. And the small change, you know, if I put somebody in a position like this and I move them over here, it looks subtle on video, but it feels really radical. So if you want to change, you know, Dan, you've made changes on your swing. Have there been little adjustments or have they been pretty radical changes?
A little of both, but I definitely agree that a little change that you can't even, it doesn't feel like, it doesn't look like it's what, it feels like a,
on video, if guys swing, you know, videotape their swing and they think they're doing something in batting practice, they think they're making a change, you look on video and it looks no different. Right. But you make it takes a huge mental change to get an actual physical change or something on video. Like specifically, if someone has a really uppercut swing and they're golfing up in the air, whatever, that, you know, they just have a very flawed swing that way, they almost have to mentally think, I'm going to cut down or swing down, which we would never want to actually take the bat and swing down on the ball. You'd be beating it into the ground or popping it up. But they have to have mentally a thought of actually swinging down on the ball just to get them slightly up from level on film. And if they're not making a huge change, and sometimes it takes someone like us to tell them that in practice, whereas they might go out and just hit ball after ball and not see any results.
Well, the point of contact is early. You look here. You know, that's why you use axe handles, because you want these knuckles to line up. Because this here, that's an X snap. If you could, that's what brings the bat from here to boom, right there. You rotate, you drive, and you snap. That's when you should make contact from lag back to impact. But if people start rolling over, you watch the wrist, palm down and palm up. Am I still palm down and palm up? Yeah, but there's been a subtle turn of the wrist, and that could make the bat dive down. So watching your own swings, you have to be anally fussy about looking for the detail because, like you said, Dan, it's going to be minute.
But that's the best technology that's out there. There's more affordable video stuff. A GoPro or even your phone. All you got to do is
phone is one of the best.
Get a cheap. We should sell it in a kit. It's just a cheap tripod with something that holds a phone.
What would you do with a GoPro? I got one. I don't know how to use it.
I'd much rather use a phone or a real camera than a GoPro. But a lot of people have them anyway.
My relative Nick, he did some good shots of the home run hitting contests with the GoPro that were cool.
Files are hard to edit with a GoPro, but your iPhone's much easier. The iPhone, if you tape at 120 frames a second with an iPhone, from that angle that Brett shows, you can on your iPhone slow it down, still frame it.
It looks like awesome professional footage you'd see on TV.
The big shot.
You can't do that with my Android. I guess I'm gonna have to buy it. Can you loan me some money? I can buy it.
The Big Chef, you've seen his channel, has a good looking video on there, Marcus last night.
I like the Big Chef. He talks about
he uses an iPhone. Well, he uses a phone, I should say. I think it's an iPhone.
Damn, I'm getting really bad. I hope you don't ditch me like they did Biden. I can't remember what.
And brutal.
I hope you guys aren't offended.
In the future, where would you like to see your program go? I mean, because it's such a unique program. I mean, anybody who everybody knows you. If you're a softball player and you want to get better, you need to type in improve my swing or whatever. It's you guys that come up.
You're the next generation. I mean, for me, I'll be 71. You've got kids coming up. I'd like to see you do a fast pitch and baseball swing makeover with the kids, but softball we'll plug away, huh?
That's just what I was going to say. Well, I mean, if we were trying to make money off of it.
Remember, he's a doctor, dude. He don't need to make money. He's a doctor.
If we were trying to make money off of it or trying to capitalize on it the highest that we could, which we're not, fast pitch or baseball is where the market is, I mean, that's where it's at. But with my kids growing up, maybe I'll get into, we've been talking about doing a fast pitch video for a long time. Otherwise, the slow pitch, I think it's just, you can only go so far with it. But
you mean putting it on your channel, not an actual video, because that's passé, right? I mean, it's gone.
I guess so.
Well, you raising up your kids, I'm different. I mean, missing the last 5 years, getting the 3 joints, having the back cancer and COVID. I'm trying to make a comeback at 71 next year. And anyhow,
you had cancer in your back? I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, it's just a melanoma they got, but it ruined last season for me. I had it in the middle of July at 30 stitches.
That's standard operating procedure for me.
Yeah, no sympathy from you.
No, not at all. I've had 100 of them.
But so I mean, I have a renewed thing. And Steve Imlay's 75. We're buddies. We converse almost daily on hitting with him in the academy. And then Dave North pops from Woodlawn Hitting Club. That's been a big connection. Dave's got a new knee joint at 85. I'd like to see him.
He's 85.
Oh yeah. 2-time Hall of Famer. He's an amazing guy. The Woodlawn Hitting Club. If you ever get a chance to go down to St. Pete, you're welcome to go down there. Him and Barry.
I know Dave for a long time.
But I have a renewed, at least for me, short term. I've lost so much core strength. I'm fleshy, as you guys can tell.
Look like you lost weight.
Well, was that bad before? But anyhow, so I have a renewed drive for it. And Dan, you've got a passion for it now. You're right in the height of your career, but it's all about adjusting the swing going back and forth, right?
Well, and everything starts selfishly, if you want to put it that way. We're working on our own swing because we want to be good at it.
Yeah.
I want my kids to be good at it, and then we're like, well, this can help other people. We'll videotape it, and we would get to the point where guys were asking us all the time or emailing. He would get calls all the time from, back in the day when we had the DVDs. And then it got to a point where it was just easier to do lessons and things like that, so it was more on a scheduled basis. But like he said, he's trying to make a comeback and play. He's got to work on his own swing. I'm constantly working on my swing, and then as my kids grow up, I'll be working with them in fast pitch and baseball. And then it's just, if we can videotape that and make shows out of that and help other people, that's kind of how the whole thing evolved anyway.
Yeah.
Well, and we had as much as a 60-person wait list. I do a few camps in Florida, but I cut it back to 4. So I refer people over to Steve Imlay. Bob O'Brien's a good friend of mine. Him and Alan had to do some teaching. Marcus Celestine, and then send them to the Woodlawn Hitting Club where Dave will help them down there. And if they ask, they can ask a pro player, watch the show. But the nice thing for us is, and Dee Marini's been a sponsor, Evil Sports and the GT. But I mean, for us, there's no financial drive. I don't need the money for it. I do it for a passion. Brett does too. We make some money off a YouTube channel and then drive some lessons. But I wish people would go to the show, videotape the swing, and then just sit down and work on it. And then if you have guys that play in your league like you two, pick the brains of a hitter and say, here's what I think I'm doing wrong on videotape. Would you look at it? I mean, there's an avenue to get better at it, but it takes, as you said at the very start, the will to want to do it, But that is the key to the success, I mean, it's right there at your fingertips. Some people just want to play and they're glad to do it. Some people are more interested in fielding, but and we don't teach home run hitting. We teach you to maximize the power you can get out of your body at any age. So then if you hit the top or bottom of the ball, the middle of the ball, the bottom of the ball.
That's the question I was going to ask you guys, and I got my own feeling about it. But as you get older, take Dave Reed and I, we were the duo, man, for a lot of years.
Oh, yeah.
The Bass Brothers.
Yeah, like Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris. But nowadays, though, Mickey and Roger, and me and Dave, we hit a lot of ground balls. And I hit more ground balls than ever. So I'm topping the ball too much. But what would you say about that?
I know as I've aged and I see it in seniors, I had back surgery and fusion at 60. And I went from batting 900 with 17 home runs at 60 Worlds. So the very next year I had stenosis. The very next tournament I played, ISA Columbus, I batted 468. Lost the rotation. That's what I'm trying to get back. Our core gets so weak. And then with the joints and everything else, I'm a shell of what I once was physically. But, you can still, technique still will override physical problems, but that rotation is what's really hard for us as seniors, I think.
I think to your point when we were talking off camera in the green room. See, we got a green room. Yeah.
We do.
Rick says, where the hell was that? But, yeah, we talked about point of contact. Somehow, at the point of contact, I'm hitting the top of the ball more.
And I
no
think,
or yes. I don't know, that's my theory.
It's like pool. It's a ground ball.
the knob of the bat dictates where the head of the bat goes, where you're striking the ball. So if the knob of the bat and your lead wrist, so for you it's your left wrist, if you're pulling that knob up in the air at contact and your bat head is lower than your hand path or where your left wrist is, you're going to pull up over the top of that ball, and then that's going to cause a topspin. So now is that a matter of, it's just like with anything else, you got to look at it and try to analyze it. What's a fix there? Is it adding more snap? No, you're still going to be over the top. Is it maybe adding a little bit of lead wrist roll to level that bat off? Or are you just aiming, too high on the ball and you have to aim more towards the, the middle to the bottom half? It's hard to say. Or is something breaking down? Did you feel something breaking down as you get older? Is it your rotation maybe not as, or your stride not as good? What do you feel like has broken down as you've gotten older?
My whole damn body. That was just a joke. But, no, but what I'm thinking.
Or is it harder for you to pull the ball than
no?
I
practice going to right. I hit the right field probably 67% of the time now.
But back when you were a premier power hitter, and Dan's got tremendous power, you guys want to hit long line drives. Did you aim at the bottom of the ball? Do you aim at the bottom of the ball? Or you just swing?
I spin it. I just hit the ball, but for whatever reason, people would tell me that I spin it really well because I'd hit my,
but you never
the angle of my bat, as you see in the video I put up.
Your body angles back, so your launch angles back.
Yeah, and it's like this a little bit. I could stand there with the 4-3 pitch count. I can stand there in 7 pitches. I can get pretty much, a pitch that is going to be in somewhat my wheelhouse. and I would swing the same way, but I would spin it. I had a unique.
But
I wasn't trying to do that.
But you never looked at the bottom of the ball. You just looked at the ball in general, right?
Oh no, I tried to hit when I was telling Brett. I tried to hit right there as the ball's coming down,
So
and I'd have a
so
little
the bottom half.
angle.
You're aiming at the bottom half.
Yeah, a little angle on it.
I was gonna say, let me ask you guys. Let's say there's no home runs left, and you have to hit a ball, through the infield or keep it in the park. What's the difference as opposed to hitting an underspin high, long towering home run, or you want to hit a ground ball through the infield? What do you do different technically, or is it just you're so instinctive that you are just hitting a different part of the ball instinctively because you know where that's going to go?
Well, let me start off by saying I'll pass on this because I don't hit home runs much anymore. I'll let Dan talk about
Or
it.
just an underspin line.
What I do, it starts with where I'm standing in the box. If I want to hit a home run, I'm moving closer to the pitcher, and I'm definitely looking on the bottom half of the ball to get
Because
it.
you got that walk-up stop.
Right, but if there's none to get, I'm back and I'm looking middle to top of the ball for sure. And
Sure.
It doesn't matter what side of the plate. I'll just looking to
Maybe
hit it
take a
hard.
little lower pitch
Hit it
and
hard.
stay on top
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
That's
So
right.
we've asked guys that question before, and they say no, they don't. But they're able to hit underspin balls. Even some of the top pros, they're able to hit underspin balls, and they're able to hit top spin balls through the infield. They don't necessarily think about a certain part of the ball, but that's what they're doing. They're
Right.
instinctively doing
Yeah.
that. So how do you teach someone that? Well, you got to kind of break it down more technical, where you're hitting the bottom part of the ball, and I even say the bottom third or the bottom fourth, whatever risk reward you want to have, when you're going for home runs. Whereas the hitting a top spin ball or keeping it in the park is more of the top, or the top third or the middle of the ball.
See, going back to the point of contact, probably better yet is to bring your point of contact so you hit it to an open area. I always just hammered away to left field, but if I'd been smart, I'd have hit to right field, then the one pop-up I'd hit every 10 at bats would land in. So, with you, Dan, playing, it's a far different game than it was when I was in my 50s, with you having to place the ball around. Placement probably comes first more than anything else, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But for you would say, or you tell me, your swing mechanics don't change that much whether you're keeping the ball in the park or trying to hit it 400 feet. It's more of where you're striking the ball and what you're doing at the point of contact.
Yeah.
And that's where I think there's a lot of guys that we talk to, rec guys or guys that are working on their swing, and they think it's two different swings, whereas it's more of, we talk about if you're hitting off the tee and you want to pull the ball and then you want to hit the ball to right field, or the opposite field, I should say, all you do is move the tee. Or like you said, you move yourself in the box, and you're just adjusting the point of contact to hit the ball that way. You're not necessarily doing something totally technically different.
Yeah.
It makes we're all about making it simpler, less moving parts, easier to repeat.
The elite athlete, I agree with you a little. And when I say elite, there's a certain point that you're not elite. Even when you are elite, you were elite. And when you're an older guy, like I never used to think about where I was hitting the ball when I got to the plate. If I come up in a clutch situation, one thing I learned many years ago was do what you do best. Don't try to be fancy. Just get your pitch, hit it as hard as you can, and hit where you usually hit. And I was a middleman. I was deadly in the middle. People were afraid of me when I was young. Coming up the middle. They go, hey, well, get out of the middle. And then you get that middleman in there, attitude's got to change,
Mm-hmm.
And I played a couple games in the 50s, right? And what's an out in the 50s, I can stand there and when I get pitched a little outside, I just let the bat hit it. And the bats are good enough that it takes off through. It's a base hit. It's not a fancy base hit or a hard base hit. But you guys play racquetball?
You used to play or pickleball.
Pickleball, you can't hit hard. You hit hard. Racquetball, you can hit that thing hard, dude. That's what and that's what my softball. If I can't hit it hard, I probably don't. Well, I won't say that because I probably would. But I like to hit it hard. I don't need to hit it out. But if I hit a bullet, there's times that I've done a swing Bob Spinner come up and go, where'd you, oh no, who, I forget who came up and said, how'd you learn to cut a ball like that? I didn't know I was cutting a damn ball. I just hit it hard.
Sure.
I just sliced it through.
Take enough BP and practice, you get it. You know, never, top pro always told me their aggressiveness brings them confidence. Get up there and be aggressive. But if you have no technique, you can be as aggressive as you want. That's
exactly right.
That's, you know,
that's not a technical teaching
confidence.
point. You know?
No. But every top pro, you know, when your skills are good, you take a lot of BP, like Ed says, then you just cut it loose, you know. But
well, the one thing we didn't talk about this, and we got to, you know, I knew this was going to happen. We're way over on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need to round this up. But you guys, you know, there's one thing that and I'm going to do a piece on this soon. And I've talked about it. I call it the 3 T's of hitting, with the silent T being rhythm, and it starts with an R. What do you think about rhythm in your swing? See, I think you have more rhythm in your swing than he does.
I can't even dance. So, but we call it ba-boom.
What do you think about rhythm?
Our tempo,
talk about it a lot.
our tempers, we teach all the time.
Ba-boom.
But it's real nice and easy. That's your counter rotation, your stride. You bring your hands back. That's done at 5% or less. Ba. That's your timing, like Major League.
You got ba, ba, boom, or
and then boom. It's
yeah,
as fast
you
as
had me doing that boom shit for a while.
So tempo's so important. You don't see a Major League pitcher go like that.
Or we say 5 or 10%, 10%, 100% is what we used to say. Now, whether you swing at 100% or not, I don't think guys ever actually swing at 100%, because you'd be kind of out of control. But 10%, 100%, and that implies that you're easy and then explode. You know, or easy explodes is another term we use. You know, it's ba, boom.
Boom. Yeah, you got it. But see, I did that when I was a young man. When I instinctively, it's just like, you know, it's like boom. You know, you get everything. It's a focus. You know, when I just started laying my bat, it's a whole new laying my bat in the store and exploding. Every time I hit it, I would boom, not boom. I'd say like grunt, and you know, that I think focuses everything.
Well, you have a punching bag here, like you see in the bars or amusement parks. They have a punch bag hard. You don't go into it like this. You know, it's real easy. Then boom, all the way. And Dan, on your swing, I'm sure that walk up, that's a nice, easy tempo, right?
Yeah, and I've experimented, because when it started going good, I said, well, maybe faster's better. So when I started accelerating, it wasn't better.
Yeah.
So it's like, by going slow and smooth, I find that if it's high and deep, I can stand back and just wait, and I feel like I can
Don't
get
try to load
power
up and kill it. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
that's it. I've had tournaments where Brett said to me, lucky enough that he's been to some of my senior tournaments, he said, hey, take it easy on the tempo, you're loading up too much. And it's just, you know, that's the kind of balance we run into is tournament players. You know, sometimes that's enough to fix your swing when your mechanics are pretty good, you know.
Well,
anytime
you bear down and put all your energy in the bat, rather than letting the energy flow through the bat to the ball, I mean, you let the bat do the work. Is what we say.
Well, and it's like hitting. If you take a machete and you're hitting it into a tree, or you take a hammer and you're trying to hit a nail, you still have to. It's not just a power game; it's a precision game. You still have to hit that hammer on the nail, so you can't be out of control. You know, swinging.
That's a good analogy. You take a guy that takes 10, swipes with the hammer, and a guy that takes 4, because he's dead on.
And he's more efficient. Yeah, exactly. And he's taking that power and converting it all into the ball. But still in a controlling, precise manner, and that's a lot of how the swing is ultimately what you're doing at the point of contact is the most important. How you're striking the ball, and you want to convert all your energy into that, and you can't just be wild out of control. Going back to your rhythm, I 100% agree. Whether you call it tempo or cadence, or you use a term for it like ba-boom or 10%, 100%.
It's all about.
We say slow down the windup a lot of times. We say slow down the windup. It helps bring that point of contact back, and then you're able to explode. Like you were telling me outside in the green room that you would wait till the last second, and that's just another. We have different terms we use just so that we can talk the same language. But you say I wait right till the last second and then I explode. Well, what that's essentially doing is you're not just sitting there stationary waiting till the last second. You're doing your wind up and you're waiting till the very last second, and then you explode everything. That's exactly what we're talking about.
I've heard numerous pros say that. Wait, explode. That's
it. And my theory on that is it makes your bat faster because your mind makes up. But you know what I'm having to do now because of all the treatments I'm going under? I have to physically tell myself to stay back on that right leg. You weren't there Saturday. I did that more Saturday, and I was better. But listen, we got to wrap this up. How did these guys, you know, everybody probably knows how to get the swing makeover, but just in case somebody
how did they find you?
Our website, sportstechnique.com, and all the swing makeovers, well, I should say all, I haven't updated it on the webmaster, but you can go to sportstechnique.com, look under YouTube clips, and we have episode 1 through, I think, 171, and then 220. There's some missing, but that's the best way to go. You look off our website. Otherwise, you just have to search it on YouTube, you know.
Just go to YouTube, type in swing makeover, and it'll come up.
If you subscribe, like, to your channel, if you subscribe, then if you go, you get a little bell that's rung on YouTube. You can see it's come on.
Otherwise, our email is swingmakeover@gmail.com, and that's if you want to get a swing analysis by sending me videos, or if you want to contact us about anything, that's the easy email to contact us.
Yeah, I can tell you from personal experience, they do a good job on that swing makeover, and I think Gary Benton did. I think he did one with
Steve Imlay.
Steve Imlay, yeah.
Steve's awesome.
Yeah, but these two are the man.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with those two, father and son combination of the swing makeover fame on YouTube. It was very enjoyable for Dan and I. Bogey and his son are a great team together, and we appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit subscribe. I'm 130 subscribers short.